it was the moment my husband got to the scene. And my husband is this kind of person that no matter the situation, he will just be like, you'll be fine, let's go. So I was expecting him to come and say, okay, let's go, you'll be fine. And when he came and he screamed and he started crying, was when I knew that, oh, something was wrong. And people around were making pitiful signs and everything, but pitiful sounds, and I didn't know what had happened then. But when he came and he screamed was when I looked at my leg and I knew that, oh, my bone was scattered all over the place and my blood was going down the bridge, because we're on a bridge.
Wow.
Going down the bridge, it was so, I don't know, at that point I felt like my life had left me.
This is a story of hope, a story of survival, and a story of victory. This is going to be the shortest intro ever that you've ever seen on Without Words, because today someone is here to share her story, our experiences, our journey, and ours alone to share. But one thing that you will take away from this entire episode is that when it feels like all else has failed, God is faithful. Thank you for joining us on Without Words today. I'll be right back with my guests. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking by. I have with me in the studio today Eniola Makuo. Okay, I should have asked for the right way to pronounce your surname, so please pardon me.
It's fine. It's actually Makuo.
Makuo.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for agreeing to share your story. This is like a typical see what the Lord has done, and we're happy to talk about it.
It's my pleasure.
Like I said, it's your story to tell, and the goal is just for us to be able to encourage people that against all odds, no matter how dark any situation might seem or might look, there's still that glimmer of hope that God offers. Right, so you had a life-changing experience or an encounter on the 18th of December 2017.
Yes.
Can you please relive that incident?
Wow. This story is very personal and emotional one for me, but I could recall that morning. Was it morning? I was about to step out with my daughter, and one thing that day always reminds me of is that God speaks to us. And oftentimes we allow the noise of our environment and the happenings overshadow his voice. That day, my daughter is the one that I think she was 9 months old then. So anytime she knows that we're about to step out, she's always bubbly and happy and all. But that particular day, I noticed my daughter was all cranky and everything. I checked her diapers, maybe she had excreted or anything, but she was fine. And I was just wondering what could have,
restless.
Yeah, she was restless and all of that. What could have been the issue? But I just waved that and I moved on. Yeah. And as at then, where we lived is a particular area in Lagos where everybody that knows that environment knows that the traffic is a constant thing every day. So as I was stepping out, I heard that don't take a bike. It was audible. I heard it.
Wow.
But I waved that and I just continued. I looked out for a vehicle like 2 or 3 times. So I didn't see, so I decided to just take a bike. Even with my daughter, I was backing up.
Wow.
So I stopped the first bike, stopped the second bike, stopped the third one until the 9th one.
9 bikes?
Yes. So when I got that, I negotiated and it was time for us to move. We were moving, and look, when I heard the voice, they said there won't be traffic, don't take a bike. So
You were going to take the bike to beat the traffic?
Yes. So, and when we were going, lo and behold, there was no traffic. And I was just like, oh wow, this is unusual. It's very unusual on that route that there won't be traffic at that time of the day. So we were moving, and when we got to a certain point, I heard, and this time was audible and it was in Yoruba, that I should get down from the bike. I asked the bike man, did you speak? He said no. I felt a tap on my shoulder. No exaggerations now. And I just I didn't bug. I asked the man, are you talking to me? He said no. And we just moved. And I think about 2 minutes after that, a trailer ran into us, and then we just everywhere. We just scattered on the floor. I could see my bone. Everywhere was messed up. At that point, I didn't know what had happened to me because I was just bothered about my daughter. Because when we fell, our head was very close to the trailer.
Oh my goodness.
So someone picked her from me, and I just held on to the man's leg. The crowd was much. I don't want to hear stories that where's my child and everything. So I didn't know what had happened to me at that time, but I just held on to the man's leg.
Who was holding your daughter?
Yeah. So it was the moment my husband got to the scene. And my husband is this kind of person that no matter the situation, he would just be like, you'll be fine, let's go. So I was expecting him to come and say, okay, let's go, you'll be fine. And when he came and he screamed and he started crying, was when I knew that, oh, something was wrong. And people around were making pitiful signs and everything, but pitiful sounds, and I didn't know what had happened then. But when he came and he screamed was when I looked at my leg and I knew that, oh, my bone was scattered all over the place and my blood was going down the bridge because we're on a bridge.
Wow.
Going down the bridge, it was so, I don't know, at that point I felt like my life has left me. Like I couldn't breathe well. For a moment I was unconscious. I asked for water. And Nigerians, a lot of people don't drink water, you will die. The place was just, so they took me from there to a tradomedical place somewhere around Moshin. Yeah.
And then the journey began.
Yeah, the journey began.
How many years now?
4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah, so I was bedridden for, say, 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was your daughter? Was she completely fine?
Yeah, she was. No scratch at all. No scratch at all. It was while I was trying to make sure nothing happened to her, I tried to stand up, not knowing that my bone had broken, and it just went, even my heel went off because I tried to stand up, trying to make sure nothing happened to my daughter.
Wow. So in those times, from your narration, you could tell that there was God cautioning you, telling you not to go ahead. So in those times when the journey to healing began, did you deal with guilt at any point? Did you blame yourself?
Well, at that point, I knew God was talking to me, but because I was trying to catch up with activities and everything, I waived it. But later, I realized that, oh, this is what God was trying to, but I didn't dwell on it so much.
Okay, the regrets.
Yeah, I didn't dwell on that so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't dwell on it.
Okay, so what were your expectations? You would have thought that, oh, okay, so this has happened. They'll probably take you to the hospital, and then you spend maybe a few weeks. But then when weeks ran into months, and then months into years, were you at any point angry with God? As a believer, you would have an expectation of, okay, there's a promise of healing, and when it looked like the healing was taking, something that took months and then years, we could say that it took too long to come. So were you angry with God at any point?
When I got to the tradomedical hospital, and the man, it was owned by one old man, a Togolese man. He was saying it through the window that, don't worry, in 2 months you'll be out of here. I screamed. I wish he was close to me for me to have slapped him or something, because I was going crazy. How will I stay here for 2 months? I didn't expect him to say that. I was hoping maybe in maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks I'll be out. So at some point I was really angry at God. I stopped praying. In fact, when people came to try to joke around things and play with me, I just wanted everybody to leave me alone. I had a lot of questions. I wish I could see God to ask him, okay, why did you allow this happen to me? If you love me, why will you allow me go through all of this? I was angry at God. At some point, I wasn't praying. When people come to pray for me, I don't listen. I don't even say amen. I was going insane. A part in my book, I was going insane at that time. I was angry at God, honestly. Yeah.
Let's talk about the depression that, like the events that led to the depression and then led to the suicidal attempt. What took you down that path?
Okay, I remember one Sunday, because all the time I spent in the child medical hospital was my husband and my mom shuffling. My husband stayed there with me. I think he was laying on the floor. So that day he had
Bless
gone.
him, wherever he is.
Yeah. So that day I had gone to church and my mom hadn't come as at then, and my patients were outside in compound. They were having fellowship, so I needed to ease myself. So I needed help because they were clapping and nobody could hear me. I was so pressed that I excreted on myself.
Wow.
So at that point I was like, what's left? Like, if it has gotten to this point, like, I would ease on myself and everything. So I just felt like it's not worth it. Life is not, like, my legs stink. I couldn't stand up. That was about 4 months in. I couldn't stand up on my own. I can't do anything without someone there to help me. Yeah. So I was just like, I think I should just end it all. So it was at that point I reached out to a knife. I think it was my mom that brought the knife for orange at the place. So luckily someone came in and just rescued that moment. I think God wanted me to be here. So yeah, that was the first part of the suicidal attempt. Because
there was another one.
Yeah, there was another one. So I think the other one was when a surgeon told me my leg was going to be amputated. So I think I got addicted to a certain drug.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was at Trado Medical Hospital, there's this injection they administered to me. That's like the only thing that eased me of the pain.
Okay.
So I got addicted. So when I was discharged after 8 months in that place, when I got home, there was no nurse around to like help me with that. So I looked for one. Eventually I got one. So there was a day I fell in the bedroom and I needed that injection so bad, and I couldn't get anyone to administer it to me. So I learned how to do it myself, and that was the beginning of abuse for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So when that happened, the pack lasts for 2 weeks. I started using it for 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So wow. I got addicted to that, and so it was one Sunday in church. I'd taken a pack of the injection. When I get to church, I will go to the toilet and inject myself, whether the pain was there or not. There was this craving. I just always wanted
it. Making you feel good.
Yeah. So it was now beyond the pain now. It was the relief I get and the feeling I get after taking it. So I went to the toilet and I realized that I had taken an empty pack. So it was as if I wanted to go mad at that point. So I sent my sister, because we have a medical team in church, to ask them if they have this. So the head of medical team was curious that how could someone need this kind of injection in church? Like, she knew what is being used for is for like intense pain. So she came with her, and then she asked me. I narrated my story and everything. So then she referred someone in church, a surgeon, an orthopedic surgeon. So I saw the man. So he asked me that I should get an X-ray, and then we'll talk from there. So when I was done with that, the man was already on his way outside the country. So instead of him seeing the result physically, he saw a picture of them. Okay. So I think maybe he didn't see clearly, or Isha told me that there's a malunion in my leg. The leg is going to be amputated if I don't do something like. So like I need to do an operation. Like, I guess I didn't hear so much of the operation part than the amputation. Like, because I've gotten to a point where I don't expect positive reports anymore. Like, I was clouded with negativity because so when he told me that, I was depressed. Like, it was like my second level of depression. Like, after I think it was 8 months now, and they are telling me, oh, amputation. So I was so angry. I was so when that happened, my one of my friend told my pastor, the church I was attending before I got married, and then he said, "Oh, you know someone at Igbobi Hospital that can come in, that is very good and everything." So we went on to see the man, and he said, "Okay, this is far from amputation. It's just that the wound had stayed for long. I think I had about 10-inch wide open wound.
Wow.
That had been open for like 8 months. So he said that may be getting cancerous at that moment. So we need 2 surgeries to be done, which is elongation of my bone and then skin grafting to cover up the wound, and then so when he mentioned an outrageous bill, I was like, okay, I think I'm allowing a lot of people go through so much pain because of me. And I was just going to, as I did, I was pregnant. I got pregnant along the line.
Wow.
So I got home that day and I was just crying. My husband had gone out. I was alone. I had one small girl help. So I sent her out. I just mapped out my plan, my
You were going to
suicide
end
plan.
it.
Yeah.
Did you know you were pregnant?
Yeah, I knew I was
At that
pregnant.
time?
I knew I
Okay.
was 7 months pregnant.
Oh wow.
Yeah, at that time. So I just, I missed some things together.
I know.
I drank.
Oh, you mean you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when the man mentioned the figure of the surgery, and I'm like, my husband has been going through all of this, people around me, my parents, my siblings, everyone. Let me just go so these people can rest. So I got to that point and I thought, okay, let me just end it again. That was the second attempt.
Time.
Yeah. So I took the substance, and then again someone walked in and rescued. Please, I need some time.
It's fine. Take all the time you want. You're doing well.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome back. We needed to take that break. Conversation was getting intense and understandably emotional. So, thank you for sharing, Eniola. So again, a second suicidal attempt, but thank God for his mercies. He was caught halfway before the damage could be done. Thank God about that. So, I'm just going to move on to the next question. In all of this, at what point did you find God again? I mean, you went through the process of losing faith, being angry, giving up, being depressed. So at what point did you find God again, and did you find the strength to be able to hold on to your faith in God?
Okay, I think it was at the point where I had a surgery, and then the surgery failed. It failed, and then we had to do another surgery again. So when that time came, again, we're trying to raise funds and everything. So with everything we've raised, and there was a certain figure left, and someone just came and paid everything. And before going in for that surgery, a friend of mine called. She sent me some scriptures that I should pray and meditate and everything. So at that point, I think it was one night at the hospital while I was on bed rest prior to the surgery. So I just decided that, okay, if I tried to take my life the first time, God came in. I tried the second time, He came in again. It means that He is in this. I'm not saying God doesn't do bad. There's no evil in God. I'm not saying God inflicted that on me, but I'm sure God will not allow us go through more than we can bear.
Okay.
So at that night, I was just like, okay, God, I'm sorry. when my friend prayed with me, and then we had that conversation, she sent me some scriptures, and I went through them, and I was just like, God, I'm sorry. And this time, going in for that surgery, I was prepared. I was ready to fight. Now I was willing to leave because I had hope again. So it was at that point when God sent someone, because I knew it was God. I don't have so much of a relationship with the person that paid. Like the balance I was left for the surgery to be done. So I just knew that it was God. And I was just like, after everything, I mean, there were times I was just like, there's no even God. Like, why will He allow me? Because it was so much. Words cannot describe how much pain I went through. So it was so much so that I was like, why will He say He loves me and He will allow me go through this? It was that bad. I even thought this God does not exist. So, like, after everything, He has rescued me twice, and again He has sent someone to me. So it was at that point I was like, God, I'm sorry. And I mean, I went back into my miracle anticipation vibe.
Vibe.
Yeah. So then I think that was the point.
And how did the surgery then go?
Then the surgery went well.
It made a difference.
Yeah. But even then, when I had the surgery, that was the second one, it failed again. It failed again. But this time I wasn't going to take that defeat. So
that's the word.
Yeah. Some of my friends came in and we really prayed, and she was like, let's call on the God of our fathers. We prayed a lot that day, and then they asked me in the hospital to be on bed rest. I shouldn't go anywhere, don't do anything, just elevate your leg. And this time around, I was just, because that was not what I wanted to see. I didn't accept that. Though we were really shattered. My husband was devastated. I could see the tears.
The second surgery.
Wow. When they opened my leg, the stench in the room can kill someone. It was smelling like a decaying body. So I was like, God, this is not what I asked you. This is not what I want. So we prayed. We joined our faith together with friends and family. And then God came through. When we went, they opened it up, and lo and behold, the skin that was falling off had gone back into its place.
This was post-surgery?
After the surgery that was failing the second time.
All right, so this was after the surgery?
Yeah, after the second surgery. So the first one had failed completely. No remedy.
No remedy.
I was pregnant when I had that first surgery. So when it failed, the doctor told me to just hold on, give birth, and take care of my baby before we could do the other surgery. Yeah, we had 2 surgeries first, then again another 2 surgeries. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. It must have taken a lot, and it's still. I mean, how did you know you were ready? How did you get to this point where you can now share your story? I mean, you have a book. Can you please pass the book? You have a book where you have all of this documented.
Yeah.
Yes. So at what point did you acknowledge the fact that you're ready to share your story and to encourage people? And why are you doing it, really?
Okay. I think there was a day I went to an event. I'd always wanted to share my story just to encourage people, because even before I had this accident, when I see people with broken leg or people working with aid, I have this empathy
for them.
Yeah, for them. I'm always very moved. I thought I knew how much of pain they were going through then, and I always pitied them. I don't know if that's the right word, but then when I went through it and I came out of it, I'm like, wow, this is really... So I thought, okay, I'm going to share my story, just maybe have a daily post on my Instagram, on my social media pages and everything. But I was at the program, and then God told me that He want me to have an actual book, write the book, and actually launch it. I'm this kind of person. I'm very shy. I don't like facing the crowd or anything. I've been shying away from this book for 2 years now. So I think I just felt like God always, when things happen, there's always a message in it. Even the moment your pain comes, God already has seen the end, and He has a plan for it. And I know that God will not allow all the pain I went through. I'm sure it's not going to be a waste. I know the devil had tried to make me end my life a couple of times, but God came through. I know it was for a purpose, and I'm sure the time is for such a time as this, so that the message can go far and let people know that there's a God and He can heal. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So to just close, what are some of the lessons that you would like, the very, I don't know what words I can use now, because this is so deep and so profound. So what are some of like the strong lessons, even if it's just one, that you've taken out of this journey?
The very major lesson I learned is God is near. God is near. Like before now, I'm this kind of person that I always sought out third parties to communicate with God. Oh, I want to do this. Help me ask God. Help me pray. Help me. So I realized that when I was in my downtime, when I prayed to God, there's this peace I feel, and when I pray, I have this relief. Even as at then, I don't know, like I hear that, oh, God is saying, stand up, do this, as at that point. I know it's a gradual thing, but I knew that, I realized that God is around, God is within me, and whatever I'm going through, He understands, and He will not leave me. He will not leave me, and He will not forsake me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eniola, for sharing your story. I salute your courage, and I respect your journey, and I pray that the good work that God has started, He will perfect it. And I pray that your story, which is in form of this book, details of how to get it will be in the description box below. I pray that this story will travel wide, it will touch lives, it will encourage people, and it will bring healing. Thank you for sharing. As she has said, the takeaway for me here is that God is near. I've learned a lot, and I hope that you had to. And whatever situation you might be going through, God is near. You don't have to go through third parties to have access to Him. And also, don't waste your pain. That's like the crux of the matter. Thank you again for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification button so you'll be the first to know when we have other insightful and inspiring episodes such as this one. I'll see you again soon. Bye.